Which relationships do we keep and which ones do we let go of? Maybe some of the most important decisions of our lives. And what fascinates me is that we'll never know what the right answer or the wrong answer was. We'll have to live with every single one of our choices. The girlfriend you marry, the relationships you keep, the job you keep, the co-workers you don't fire. This is your life. Man, and in the midst of all of that, there's always a question mark, because the human consciousness is aware that there are multiple other possibilities out there. And that acceptance of all other possibilities, that recognition that they are there, but we choose to ignore them, is such a skill to develop. Because the complete ignorance of all possibilities is ignorance itself, right? It's not knowing what is possible. It's not knowing any better. That is literally the definition of being naive. And yet we live in this world where we are constantly seeking knowledge and expanding our consciousness, yet knowing too much also doesn't serve us. For the most part, our brain struggles to be able to decide what to do with information. And when it comes to relationships, sometimes that extra amount of information that confuses the heck out of us is the understanding that there are always other options. There are always other possibilities. There is no just one story for no one out there. So many other versions can take place. So many other possibilities could have happened or can happen in the future. And we'll just have to live with that acceptance. The only other path is to accept the unknown. But maybe in this particular case, when it comes to maintaining our relationships, accepting the unknown ain't enough. What we also have to do is to commit to what is in front of us, commit to our choices, and not allow these predictions of other possibilities to change our perspective, to change who we are, to change how we feel. What I'm actually trying to say is that maybe no one can tell you if you should keep your girlfriend or break up with her. And maybe the journey for you to discover the answer to that is a personal journey. And perhaps for you to go on that journey, you'll have to give yourself time. You have to show yourself some love. You have to give yourself some space to be alone in solitude, to think, to explore, to experience adventures. Maybe to even get to know yourself better, to ask yourself deeper questions. Who am I? What do I like? What do I want in this world? What don't I like? What things I know that I don't want to mess around with? What is my legacy? This doesn't mean that you have to serve your ego and do something important to be recognized by anyone else. But to put it more simply, within your limited time on the face of this planet, what do you wish to say you accomplished? And recognize that whatever you accomplish or not accomplish, you will be forgotten no matter what. Very few people have come and remained as part of our history. So there is no expectation there. A legacy is simply the definition of your life from hindsight. If you look back at your 80s, what defined your life in the past 80 years? And that's it. You know, when you look at that partner, when you look at that girl, at that guy that you're with, do you see yourself getting old with that person? Can you envision, can you imagine an 81-year-old version of yourself with an 81-year-old version of that person right next to each other? Half a century later, 40, 30 years later. Maybe that's easy for you, but maybe that is a tough thing to wrap your mind around. Maybe it's worth giving it time. Maybe it's worth going on a ride. Maybe it's worth thinking about how every day should or shouldn't be spent. Some of my favorite days in life have been spent alone. Some of my favorite moments in life have been on two wheels. We are born alone, at least for the most part. We die alone, at least for the most part. So we have to acknowledge the inevitability that perhaps this journey we're on at its core is very much a solo experience. We get to choose and share our lives with others. But none of that saves us from the experience of death. Death at its core is a personal experience of one soul. And that is the same as life. Arguably, even if you have a twin. So maybe we should love that, acknowledge that, and cherish that. The fact that we are alone from the beginning, and we will be alone again in the end, and what we do with the time we have in between is all a matter of choice. And the choice is your right, is your birthright. No one can take that away from you. No one should even try, because as a result of that being taken away, you'll lose yourself. Once we lose choice, we become prisoners. And the prisoner will never be able to provide space for love for anyone else around them. And man, does that not answer why so many men have struggled to be good fathers? Why so many parents have struggled to be good parents? When you feel like a prisoner in your own life, then how could you ever provide space for love for a child, for anyone else? So maybe what I'm encouraging us to consider is that this journey of life might be the journey of creating thoughtful, delicate disappointments in other people. Precise dosage of disappointments that opens your own path for your own life. Because who knows what the alternative would even be, if it's even worth experiencing that alternative, it's even worth going through with it and living that fully. We have one life, y'all. Literally one life. And I'm not sure if you understand that. When we're stuck at a grocery line, when we're stuck in traffic, when we're stuck in a relationship we are questioning, when we're stuck with a job that no longer calls our name, or too afraid to try something different in life and fail. Like, do we really get that this whole experience is all one life and no one knows what comes after it anyway, so there's no point of wasting any seconds? Because there is no guarantee that there's going to be any heaven or any hell or anything better or worse than what we're experiencing today. By definition, that means that there's no point of feeling sorry for ourselves, because this might be the very happiest moment of our lives, and we have no idea, we have no frame of reference. We continue to compare this moment to the past, and due to the fact that this life, this earth, this planet, this entire universe is constantly changing, we feel sorry about that, and we feel disappointed. We feel a little bit depressed about the past not being here exactly as it was before. But what our brain struggles to understand is that sometime in the future we will also be looking at the past, and that past will be this moment right now as I'm speaking to you and you're listening, as I'm creating this video as audio for you. And the same moment today that is being compared to the past of yesterday, this same moment will one day be compared from your future self. So 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you will regret this very moment, this moment that right now you're so annoyed about, you're so over it. So there are no excuses, no legitimate reasons for you to waste any seconds away out of your life. Time is moving forward, and these are your best moments. There is no reason to think any other way because there is no evidence of that otherwise. There is no proof of that otherwise. And the only question that remains is, how do you wish to spend the time you have, and with whom do you wish to spend the time you have? What activities do you want to do? What legacy do you want to leave behind? Who do you wish to disappoint? Because you have to disappoint at least someone. We can only be at one place at one time in life. So that by nature means letting go of what's not meant for us. Let go. It's okay to let go.